So look, the David situation continues to develop. Okay, there's been more and more stuff that's been surfacing, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very suspicious. There's been a lot of talk on Reddit about a whole bunch of new narratives popping up about David being innocent, people wanting to forgive David, saying David did nothing wrong, targeting the family of the victim to say, well, it's their fault. Why weren't they worried about their kid? There's been a lot of analysis on Reddit that seems to suggest that perhaps a crisis management team in working in conjunction with David lawyers are actually doing the best they possibly can to spread different narratives to try and paint David in a better light and to try and trash Celeste and her family. And a lot of people in the last update that I did about this pointed out a very interesting fact that it appears that David's lawyer Blair Burke actually has some kind of friendship with the head honcho of TMZ, Harvey Levin. And I do think it is quite suspicious because a lot of the reporting that's coming out of TMZ in the last couple of days has seemingly been directly attacking Celeste's family. It all seems to be about painting Celeste badly, and all of the bad negative talk about David and resurfacing all the fucked up things about David, a lot of that stuff seems to be getting pushed over to one side. It's getting left by the wayside, okay? And today is no exception. It looks like TMZ have ran another article, and this time they're really trying to paint Celeste and her family, I don't want to say as monsters, but like as very dysfunctional. And it just, I personally am starting to get very suspicious of TMZ. So, okay, TMZ just posted an article. It's called right, Celeste Rivas sheriff's deputies called to home 11 times in a year. And at one point, they got called 3 times in one day. It says more evidence has surfaced of Celeste Rivas's troubled home life. Okay, this is the narrative. Bear this in mind. This is the first sentence of the article, right? And I think this is very telling because it tells you how they're now framing the narrative. They're framing the narrative very differently to how they were framing it before, okay? This is a very interesting way to start the article. More evidence has surfaced of Celeste Rivas' troubled home life. It wouldn't surprise me if David's team are really going for this defense of this girl being troubled and him having nothing to do with what's going on. It says Riverside County Sheriff's deputies were called to her house 11 times in just 1 year, TMZ has learned. Deputies repeatedly responded to her house in Lake Elsinore, California, between February 2024 and April 2025, according to police records obtained by TMZ. And get this, cops say deputies visited Celeste's home 3 times in a single day in March the 19th, 2024. That's the same date on the surveillance video that TMZ obtained from a liquor store on the same block as the family home. Celeste's sister went to this store after Celeste ran away and checked to see if she was on the video. There is a shot of Celeste running down the street and going out of frame. A car pulls out. It's unclear if she got into that car, but 2 of the 3 visits that day were at Celeste's home. The 3rd was to the liquor store. The records state almost all of the calls were listed as a minor crime investigation, no pun intended, with the exception of 1 other call for suspicious circumstances. Police took reports of 4 of the incidents, and cops plan to do some follow-ups on 3 of the calls. The dispositions on the rest of the calls were not available. Worth noting, police responded to Celeste's home at 9:29 p.m. on April the 5th, about a half hour after her family reported her missing to police at 9 p.m., according to her missing persons flyer. As we reported, Celeste had troubled home life and threatened to run away several times. An ex-boyfriend from middle school told TMZ that she had joked about it before she actually left. Celeste's dismembered and decomposed body was found in the trunk of a Tesla belonging to the singer David. In September, police say she was likely dead for weeks before she was discovered. David is not charged in the connection to that case. Now, how interesting is it that David basically just gets a cursory mention at the end of the article, and the rest of it, I don't want to say character assassination, but I think the story is being framed in a very interesting way. And I think the tone, okay, I think the tone is very different from the way they were talking about David at the beginning when all of this came about. Now, what is really interesting, there's some comments on here, and a lot of people were pointing towards the family. At what point will the parents of this young lady have to take some responsibility? Now, I think it's absurd. Like what? You had a bad home life, so just anybody that has a bad home life, I can just kill them and chop them up and put them in a trunk scot-free. Are you joking? Are you dumb? That's absolutely ridiculous way of looking at the story. But some people are saying that way, okay? And, people are basically saying, all this kind of stuff, and they're kind of pointing the finger at the family. Some people aren't buying it, saying, so what? It doesn't matter. She was a runaway. She was a murdered child. I hope they find enough evidence to lock her killer up for life. And then people are saying, it does matter, okay? Look, ain't a single display picture in sight, okay? Maybe that's just how the TMZ website works. But a lot of people are saying very strange thing. Some people are arguing with it. This is getting ridiculous. Her family didn't kill her, dismember her, and just happened to stuff her in the trunk of a car belonging to a guy she was dating. People saying, how do you know what the family did or didn't do? Are you one of the detectives investigating the incident that took her life? Well, how do you know that that's not true? Anyway, this is great. People get mad political. They're saying liberal governor, liberal legislature, and liberal DAs. You want answer? There you have it. Give me a break. Okay, people saying it has nothing to do with liberal anything. I'm a liberal, and I was in an abusive home with my mother for 10 years, being physically and sexually abused. It has to do with the fact that CPS and the police don't do their jobs. I called several times a day for 2 years as a kid. Police came out and took a report and left. CPS came out for 5 minutes and left. The police are lazy and more worried about shooting innocent men of color than child abuse. People saying he had something to do with this. He was involved at some point with her and she was murdered and stuffed him in the car. Tesla has a bunch of cameras on it. Reporting it stolen doesn't dismiss him from the dead body. How is everyone dismissing that? Okay. Yeah. People saying delete this comment. The comment was indeed deleted. But okay, so this information has gone around the various subreddits that have been tracking this story. And again, a lot of people are pointing their finger at TMZ. Okay. This post was deleted. I hate this cover-up stuff. They just got to stop deleting these posts and deleting these things. Like, stop trying to control the narrative. Just let people have their opinions and their thoughts and their analysis, and we'll let the police do their job too. TMZ with another hit job. They're calling it a hit job, and I would actually agree. And people saying, of course, they finished the article saying that David has not been charged in connection to this crime. No yet, or investigation ongoing. David's lawyer is far up TMZ's ass right now. Smearing a 14-year-old girl is pathetic. This, Blair and TMZ are effing pathetic monsters. Agreed. TMZ guy is an effing coward. This young girl deserves justice and not to be slandered in this light by the media bullies. This young girl was groomed by David since she was 10. Anyone standing behind this at TMZ will be in hell. Well, yeah, yet implies that they have insider knowledge on the incoming arrest. That is the exact type of headline that a good defense attorney would use to demonstrate that her client was deprived of a fair trial. Even before an arrest was made, the media broadcast my client's supposed guilt to an international audience, tainting this jury pool and every other jury pool who has access to TMZ. So if the cops were called that many times, it seems like they had a chance to help stop this from happening. I don't see what this has to do with her death. This. It says they're trying hard to smear her and her family. It's vile. All these people care about is money. Hollywood is filled with predators and PDFs that are then helped by powerful women to clear their name and keep them out of trouble. How Blair sleeps at night beyond her pillow filled with money and blood will stay a mystery to me. Really makes you lose faith with humanity. I noticed how people are now downvoting comments that are defending Celeste and her family and upvoting the ones that are smearing them and defending a literal millionaire groomer. So it works. I think I'm done with this sub for the time being until we get real news about the circumstances about her death and murder and the hiding of a corpse. I really hope the police finds enough verifiable evidence about these crimes that Celeste gets the justice that she deserves. People said same, and I'm losing hope on justice. I just don't understand how there have been 0 charges yet. And yes, bring up examples like examples like Brian Koberger, but their bodies weren't found decayed in his car. I and a few others are working to build a sub where smearing Celeste and her family results in an instant ban. Well, I don't agree with that either. I feel like people should be able to give their opinion, and the real ones can argue with that and prove that that is ridiculous. And we only allow verified, reliable sourcing with specific days or mega threads for stipulations, not including victim blaming. Okay, we don't know about that. It's not a hit job. The family needs to be held accountable for this. Why do they deserve to keep their dirty laundry private? Everything needs to be out on the table. I think everything needs to be out on the table, but I don't think the family needs to be held accountable for this. It doesn't seem like it was their fault, but hey, who knows, man? If it was just her family, then fine, but they're trying to paint the picture that Celeste was trouble and that we should blame her, not David. I do believe her family should be held accountable as well, but most of the headlines at the moment are trying to say that she's not a victim, and that's wrong. Says, I don't agree with that. There's nothing they can say about Celeste that will make anyone think she deserved what happened. It's literally everyone else's fault, and everyone needs to be held accountable. This is a victim, this is a child, and she didn't deserve this, and everyone around her failed her, and they all need to be prosecuted. It says, this is still pretty interesting because if TMZ is indeed working with Blair, then why would they continue with the dismembered and chopped up phrase? They're still using it in the newest article. America loves to blame the victims, but not the PDF. So somebody says, I knew this would happen. The media and the social media grifters aren't getting enough information about the crime since the social media deep dive into David died down. So they start digging up dirt on and slandering the victim to keep the moolah coming in. Tale as old as modern time. It makes me sick. Celeste is the victim and a child. Everyone needs to remember this when they're about to start ripping their character to shreds for clicks and money. Okay, and people have noticed an uptick in positive comments regarding David surrounding this situation. So this is another Reddit post from a day ago. It says, why is social media currently filled with posts like David is innocent? It might only be me or something, but I've seen a lot of reels and whatnot about David is innocent and how they're apologizing to him. It's either the influencers are doing this to gain views and spread misinformation, or they're coming up with their own theories. People saying there was another discussion that bot accounts are spreading that information and people picked it up. Somebody says you can pay for things like that. Like when Drake does an album release and streamers stream that he can pay for botted messages in chats and botted messages all over social media to give the illusion that his album is good immediately and try and sell the narrative. It's so easy to do this nowadays. You can literally pay someone on Fiverr to bot posts or stream chats. I have no doubt this is also used by politicians. One time I watched academics do a Drake album release stream. Act got drunk early and passed out, so no original commenters were really speaking. The chat was spammed with positive Drake spam like W Drake album or go or just W for over 4 hours after he slept. It's insane how they can form a narrative with popular opinion so easily, but it works. When I see a ton of posts saying this tree is red and everyone who thinks it's blue is an idiot, a ton of comments and posts about the tree being red, not blue, then even I myself would usually refrain from posting and saying that the tree is blue. People are saying it's the algorithm. David's name has been popular as of late, but eventually you can't keep repeating the same things over and over again because the algorithm doesn't pick you up. So now the algorithm is picking up his innocent videos. It still involves his name, but now it's different, so it'll show up on everybody's feed who was into the topic. People are saying, yep, thousands, and I mean thousands of bot accounts are spreading this misinformation. Not only that, but it's generally the same 3 people or clips with that sped up chipmunk voice that they keep using. People are saying, I see, but there are actual known influencers on TikTok and various other platforms explaining how David is innocent, and they start to post more about it once they get views. But he's not. He's neither innocent nor guilty as of now. These influencers are mentally challenged. People are saying this is the cleanup crew. That should be enough said on this matter. Manipulation, 100% botted. Some people don't even know how out of control botting is in today's society. It's used to set narratives on everything from album quality to merchandise and politics. It's out of control. Yeah, for sure. Silicon Valley's business model is based around the ability to predict and therefore influence consumers' behaviors. When bot technology became good enough that there was no question how it would be used. Doesn't help when the cops release a statement saying she could have died by accident, but that's the LAPD for you. I mean, when you type in David on Google, one of the first things that comes up is David update, not a suspect. Delulu fans are in denial and desperate. Okay, now look. People have been debating. I touched on this in a previous video of if I'm in the wrong for talking about this. Some people have been defending me. Some people haven't. And again, I duck no fades. Okay, so let's just take a look at another giant thread clowning on me for talking about this situation. This says Trapmore Ross. Okay, granted, he's made a lot of videos covering this case. You could literally make an argument with half of the videos on people in this sub and r/David2. But wasn't the whole reason so that we could all openly continue to have a discussion about this David case? So why is everyone mad at him instead of TMZ and everyone else who's been covering the case non-stop along with him? I guess I'm just as confused as everyone seemed to have a negative opinion, as if he's profiting more than David, who quite literally just made it to 38 on the Billboard Top 100. You guys do all of this complaining when he makes an update video, but I don't hear anything about BJ Investigates or other content creators who are doing the same thing that Trap is doing, which is really just covering the story with the most exposure right now. Stop projecting previous feelings about Traplaw Ross to this case. He's simply been updating every day like anyone else in the content creation sphere. This doesn't have anything to do with him grifting. He stated multiple times that he wants to help just like we do, so why not let him instead of trying to be argumentative and dismissive over stuff that doesn't matter or has nothing to do with this case. Okay, shout out for the defense, but a lot of people are hating on me in here, and I will just keep it real and react to all of it. I see the King Von Tattoo down there. We're going to get into all of that. It says, it's because for Ross, it's just about the money and grifting off the situation. Cap. He doesn't care about the welfare of children or anyone impacted, cap, and he's just here to do his vulture journalism, which consists of reading posts by people written here. Cap, just read a TMZ article, you clowns. Anyway, bear in mind that he is a million sub YouTuber. He's part of the same circles and industry that David is in. What the hell are you talking about? I'm in the same circles and industry as David did. I'm independent, okay? Yeah, I got a couple friends that are YouTubers, but like, I'm completely independent. I ain't never been to Interscope. I ain't never been to any of these labels. I never met David. If I met David now, Might have to be smoke. I ain't rocking with David, okay? They're acting like I'm in the same cell, like I'm hanging out with David, bro. If I see David at a party, bro, who knows what's gonna happen, okay? But also, I don't know what this guy's capable of. Anyway, if or when the industry and subsequently mainstream narrative shift, which they have been building since the case broke, notice how they kept calling her a young woman and tried to desperately age her up. Ross will be the first to defend David and slander a deceased 14-year-old. Cap! Absolute cap. He's a gross piece of shit, Cap. Even down to his David cosplay with the acne stickers. I had actually a big old spot. You can actually see it. Where did I have the sticker? Was it that side? I think it might have been this side. You can actually low-key like see the trace. I actually had a spot. I had a zit, bro. Like, everyone's trying to get these weird narratives like, oh, he was cosplaying as David. Like, bro, if I wanted to cosplay as David, I'd get a white shirt and go cover it in some blood. I ain't doing that, right? I could do that. Maybe at some point I'll do that if it helps me in my creative journey to make a point and mock David. All right, I could have done that in the full length video, but actually I didn't end up doing that. I'm just doing videos as voiceover right now. But anyway, what a load of cap, man. They're saying I'm gonna change. I'm gonna switch it up. Hell no. I'm one of the only people that's still towing the line while everybody else is switching up, talking about, oh well, maybe. I'm towing the line. Okay, I'm saying don't disrespect the family. I'm saying let's keep on the case. Let's keep on smoke for this, okay? People are saying one other good thing to prove Ross doesn't have any good intentions of this. What? Because I got a King Von tattoo. That means anything. What are you talking about? He literally got a tattoo of a man he claimed was a serial killer. He fetishizes and idolizes criminals. Bruh, what the hell are you talking about? While profiting off sensationalistic videos that put a spin and get some grammar lessons, folks, that put a spin and an underlying narrative about black on black crime. Never ever have said any narratives about black on black crime. Him trying to grift off the grooming, R-word, and murder of a child is just making people realize he's the piece of shit he's always been. Grift. Bro, I'm doing quality journalism. I'm doing quality reporting. People saying he has a tattoo of his favorite artist equals bad intentions reporting on the David case. This shows you guys really don't know anything, lol. King Von was his favorite rapper. He stated why he got that tattoo. The guy doesn't fetishize crime. He brings exposure to it. And this is coming from a black guy. You want to know who did? DJ Academics through the War on Chicago channel. Trap Law Ross covers cities that have a lot of gang violence going on in them. And for your information, all of them aren't black on black crime. That was an ironic and pretty telling that you assumed that it was black on black crime when there are literally white or other races in the mix. So let me ask you a question. Is Tommy G racist, right? And Brandon Buckingham, these guys who actually, you know, go hang out with the individuals that Trap Lord Toss makes videos on and hangs out with them in real life. Let me know that they're racist grifters, aren't they, by your logic too, all right? The guy's an idiot. I'm not going to read any more comments on that thread because it's long. But anyway, was saying, yeah, I used to like him. His King Von doc is goated, but after sitting through his live last night, I was pretty disgusted. He kept refusing to get into his major updates, aka Reddit threads, until the chat posted enough W's to show excitement. Then when he presented the controversy as if people are offended by him covering the case, citing the importance of media coverage on matters in the public interest, ignoring the point entirely. If he wants to cover the case, he should. But demanding engagement and refusing to proceed until enough people are in the stream is so trashy. It shows that what this is really about for him, and it isn't justice for Celeste. All right, so that's Cap. All right, yeah, yesterday, Monday, it was my first stream in like 3 years, all right? And I told people to put W's in the chat just to show love and to show action while I was back on stream, okay? And if people want to put W's in the chat right now, you're more than welcome to. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't discredit the quality of my journalism. That's what people do on stream. People go on stream talking about W's in the chat. That's the culture, okay? Just because I'm participating in streaming culture doesn't mean that doesn't invalidate any of my intentions with covering this case, right? I'm still trying to come with quality journalism. I'm trying to come at you with this in breaking format. I've started streaming again so that I can get you these updates as quickly as possible. And you guys want to stream, so I'm going to stream, okay? And if you want to put W's in the chats for me defending myself, you're more than welcome to. But anyway, that's a load of nonsense. So we'll keep on going from there. All right. We're saying Ross has been doing this for a long time. He's made multiple hours-long documentaries on Chicago drill rappers, which were called out by actual black Chicagoans for being sensationalist and exploitative. What does a white British guy know about the history of Chicago gang culture? More than you. You're racist. What does me being a white British guy have to do with anything? Oh, so I can't know about Chicago gang culture, even though I've listened to Chief Keef since the moment that he came out, when I was driving around in Bognor bumping Chief Keef 300, when none of you guys probably still in diapers. I was really actually mentally involved in the culture as far as consuming all of the media, and that's why I'm an expert on it. But according to this racist moron, being a white British guy, you can't possibly, it's impossible because you're just perpetualizing a racial stereotype. You can't possibly know anything about Chicago gang culture because you're white and British. How would you feel if I said, oh, well, because you're a black person from America, you couldn't possibly know anything about that would be racist, would never do it. It's out of line. You're a moron. Anyway, he says, don't get me wrong, his documentaries are well done, thanks, but it's very obvious he does it for clicks and clout and doesn't understand why he comes across as a culture vulture or insensitive. I won't take advice on that from a racist, but thank you. It's only worse than that. The costumes, the glee. What glee? That King Von documentary is very serious, and a lot of the David coverage I've done has been very serious too. The glee. Show me some glee that he has in discussing these topics. How performative he sounds when he talks about the David case. It all screams of someone who's I'm deeply disturbed. Bro, I'm Gucci. I'm good. His content is useless in addition to predatory. That's cap. I had a lot of trending updates before anyone else. I'd rather have a handful of serious people who care about this crime and the victims of it than see it popularized by grifters flooding the community with bad actors. What a load of nonsense. I am realistically doing some of the best reporting on this. I'm not trying to be big-headed, but at the end of the day, I'm really in the trenches updating you guys with the news, the breaking news, the analysis, the discourse around this situation. I'm sharing with you the conversations on Reddit. I'm not even scared to read comments hating on me. So I feel like that should just go to show you that my intentions are pure, and I'm even willing to talk about things that make me look bad in their entirety, okay? Shout out to this comment, popping perks daily, okay? Put them perks down. Lol, bro, he's again one of the only people constantly covering the case and giving us our theories exposure. You can feel a way about his other channel and journalism, that's cool, but since he's constantly creating videos about a constantly updating situation, and again, you just wanted to be offended. You know Trap wasn't being serious with those stickers. So BJ investigates by your logic, and anyone who makes videos about this Celeste situation only cares about money and is grifting. When Trap Law proved that nobody is making more money off the situation than David, but here we are antagonizing the guy giving us exposure. We don't need or want baseless speculation and theory. Stop trying to cape for this grifter. You ain't getting paid, he is. You do want baseless speculation and theories because you're in the Celeste subreddit right now, okay, folks? I think everyone is using this case for content and not really advocating for Celeste, but for me, TMZ is the worst hands down. They're putting out narratives that Celeste OD'd and that David might not have known her age. The way they're smearing her makes me wonder if they're working with David's PR team. All right? He was saying best guess is that his PR team and legal teams are the ones feeding the info. All right, we already went through all that stuff. Even if David is making more, that's not the point. I understand his platform is for people who don't use Reddit or do research, but he is abusing the situation by making 25 plus videos instead of us giving us bigger updates in 1 or 2 videos. See, this is how I feel like this criticism is just a load of crap, because it's just like, you're just clutching at straws. Oh, okay, I guess that he is updating us on the situation, but instead of doing 25 videos, he should have just done 2 really big videos. Like, bro, I'm updating you on everything that's happening every single day. I'm keeping you guys informed. That's why it's not, I'm going to break the videos up into 25 videos and make as much money as possible. Like, bro, I'm just segmenting the videos by topic. Every day there's a couple new topics and I'm looking into it, and that just is what it is. Okay. But anyway, I won't duck any fades. This guy's been posting updates every other hour. That's cap. And I feel that that's not right, especially since it's about a dead miner. So what? We can't. This gets me to the free speech argument, and this one really pisses me off. That it's just like, oh, it's about a dead miner. It's not right. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, so what are we gonna do? How many kids have died in Gaza? Okay, CNN, you're banned from reporting on this. A minute ago, we're having protests all around the world of all eyes on Gaza. We're literally getting out of our houses to protest and let the world know all eyes on Gaza. Don't ignore this situation. We want the whole world to know just how bad things are in Gaza, all of the kids that are dying, whether you have an opinion on it either which way. These people have a pure intention as far as raising awareness of what's going on, and the news are doing the same thing. But if you had it your way, oh, just shut up. We can't, let's just let CNN do 1 or 2 big updates on Gaza because in my opinion, it's disrespectful. Shut the hell up, bro. People want to raise awareness about the situation and they're doing the best that they can. Anyway, your gut feeling is right. What he's doing is perverse and wrong. Is this perverse and wrong? He's just as predatory with other stories he's covering. He's a hack and a vulture. All right. How is that not the point if David is making more? Dude, look at the sub we're in. Ironically, he just did a big update video yesterday in 1 video. Yep. It was a 2-hour video. The situation isn't right because you folks are focused on Trap and what the F he's making in his videos instead of the people who genuinely were in the industry and knew David and was actively playing defense or defending for him. Individuals like Jason the Ween, instead you guys are falling for exactly what David and his lawyer want. And this is an interesting point. I'm not going to lie. I feel like the uptick in hate for me and my reporting on this situation suspiciously coincides with a lot of the reporting and narrative shifting towards defending David and focusing the blame on her family, which I've never done for the record. I've always said that it's not right to blame the family. It's not right to point the finger at the family. And it doesn't matter if she was from the worst home in existence. A little girl died. And clearly I'm taking this situation very seriously. So I just think that's a load of nonsense. And I do, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if in my opinion, if David's having that call with his lawyer and he's saying, yo, we need to change the narrative, we need to try and push the blame onto the family, we need to try and push the David as innocent. By the way, this Trap Law Ross guy has got his foot on my neck, all right? Dragging up all my lyrics, making me look real bad, all right? It wouldn't surprise me if you're going to throw a few bots to discredit her family, you might throw a few bots out there to discredit me. I'm really on the side of good here, all right? You want to talk about on the side of good evil? I'm really on the side of good here, but if you have a different opinion, that's fine. Comparing someone's YouTube page where they make money from ad revenue to conversations people have for free on Reddit is just a red herring. It's like saying that a group chat is the equivalent to the nightly news. That's a false equivalency. I understand what they're trying to say there, but it's like the fact that I'm making money, so what? I'm making money because I'm doing good reporting. I'm making money because I'm actually putting in the work to tear all of these narratives apart and try and get to the bottom of what's going on. You could do it yourself. Go and do it. But nobody else is doing it. And I would say there's not really many people working as hard as me as far as actually getting the information, making sense of it, contextualizing it, and delivering it to you guys. So there you go. Compared YouTube ad revenue to the Billboard Top 100, buddy. Music industry money curbs YouTube money any day, and that's common knowledge. That's facts. David definitely getting more money than me. People saying, who cares? Let people profit. When the momentum dies down and no one's talking about this, you'll be wishing these people were making videos. Exactly what I said. Funny how everyone has an issue with Bro, but other creators like BJ Investigate's been doing the same thing and everyday content on this story. Now, this comment's hidden. This is probably a brutal comment. Let's see what it says. Interesting. You guys are Karens and turning into cancel culture. People need to live off something too, especially if they do this full time. If you think that just because you work for a charity organization, people will work for free there and eat nothing and live on the streets, you're delusional. Traplaw Ross has been really good at filtering the information here on Reddit and making it accessible for the public, which is what we want. Ross and Down the Rabbit Hole are probably the two fastest here. The more people know of this case, the lower chance it'll get swept under the rug. Don't turn this into a purity test, and the funniest thing is, those people that turn things into purity tests usually try and gain social status or decrease someone else's social status, making it all about their vendettas, okay? He'd be a lot faster if he stopped stalling for engagement and demanding people post W's in the chats before sharing updates about something he claims is important. Waits for updates equals stalling for engagement. Boy, you guys really turned a vendetta against this guy just because Trap wants to cover the story. But if he would have just moved on in the beginning, I bet you guys still would have had an issue with that. I mean, the ironic thing is, like, the reason I was saying put W's in the chats, not because I was farming for engagement, like, quite literally, as I said to you earlier on in a previous clip, it is actually just quite hard to multitask. I'm still getting a few of my links together. So I'm realistically, like, the completely God honest truth of me telling you to put W's in the chats. Like, I'm low-key stalling for time because I'm trying to get a couple more links together before I actually start the full update. But hey, take it how you want to take it, man. There's still other things about the situation that are going on that are new, and we're going to get to those. And just for all the haters on Reddit, man, all right, we're going to do one big long update on this, okay? We're just going to put all of the updates into one big video, all right? See if that placates them. But, you know, I could have split these into some different narratives, but ultimately I feel like let's just make this one big long update. Okay, so this has been going around, okay? This is a new news report. It's a 10-minute news report about the situation, and people saying she's making very valid points. So I feel like it would be cool to watch this whole thing. I'm down to watch the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe W's in the chats if you want to watch the whole thing. I don't know, but not really. We're going to watch the whole thing, okay? I am joshing at the expense of some of those people hating on me, but I would like to watch this, and let's just watch this together. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, all right? Let's check out what Nancy Grace had in her breakdown of the situation.
Nancy Grace, this is Crime Stories. I want to thank you for being with us. Breaking news tonight. D4VD, aka David Anthony Burke, the artist known as David's alter ego, Pain, has emerged after a Japanese anime he created. His own alter ego that he has come up with is Pain. This, as the Tesla keycard to his Tesla, is found hidden in a gutter. Why?
Hey, so look, if you're gonna get on Nancy Grace's case about this, you know, I want to see a whole Reddit thread saying how Nancy Grace is disgusting. She probably making more bread than me. All right, and she talking about Reddit theories. She's talking about a key being found in the gutter on Reddit that surfaced originally on Reddit. All right, so bring some of that energy to Nancy Grace, ma'am.
Who hides their car keys or their key card in a gutter and leaves it in that trunk of that Tesla? A little girl, Celeste, just 13 years old when she goes missing, body in his trunk. Tonight, no arrest. I'm Nancy Grace. She's been gone over a year with him.
2 words, coercive control.
And now she's dead.
Can we delete all VODs and lessons of children free the streets?
Delete everything.
Tonight, the conspiracy theorists' online sleuthing has exploded with literally dozens and dozens of theories, all centering around one thing. The SOD defense. Some other dude did it. But before we wander into the fantasy land of what might have happened,
it almost sounds like she's going to aggregate like dozens of posts and theories on Reddit into one useful video, you know, as part of her journalistic integrity. It's almost as if she's a good journalist and deserves to be paid for her time.
Let's talk about what has happened. As we go to air tonight, we learn the key card to D4VD, a.k.a. David, a.k.a. David Anthony Burke's Tesla, the one with the dead body in the front trunk of his very expensive luxury Tesla. That key card to that Tesla. Oh, there you go. Why is it hidden in the gutter?
Not giving it. Look, I'm not even trying to hate on Nancy Grace, right? But like, this is from Reddit. This is from Reddit, and you heard it from Big Trap Law first, all right? So you can just stop hating, all right? We're doing exactly the same thing.
Joining me an all-star panel to make sense of what we are learning, straight out to Christina Gonzalez, joining us, award-winning investigative reporter, Fox 11 KTTV, joining us from this jurisdiction. Christina, why is the key card in the gutter?
And, you know, keep in mind, and to be fair, there's like 3 other Teslas on that block. But I have a Tesla. I know where my key card is. And I'm not living in the gutter.
Dave Mack joining me, Crime Stories investigative reporter. Where was the key card found? It reportedly goes to David Anthony Burke's Tesla. And why is it in the gutter? What do we know?
Well,
now, what's interesting, she just said that the key reportedly goes to David's Tesla. Now, I've not seen confirmation of that anywhere. I don't know if that's just the way she's worded it. It came across like she had more information than she actually has. Or maybe they got an update behind the scenes that the car actually did correspond to David's Tesla. Now, that I don't know, but I do think that that's very interesting. I would like to know what the source is on that.
we know that it was found by a neighbor, and it was found in the gutter. And the neighbor actually picked it up, Nancy, and turned it in to police. But as is the day and age, she posted it, or she did, onto Reddit, where everybody was able to pile on and talking about the relevance of finding a key card for a Tesla that had a teenager's decomposed remains in it.
I'm going to follow up with Steve Fisher in a moment about all the dust on that Tesla and what, if anything, it means. But let me stick with the key card first. Joining me
She's doing the exact same thing as me. I think it's really interesting.
is Scott Eicher, digital forensics expert, founding member of the FBI Cellular Analysis Survey team, who is an expert in Teslas and their key card. Now, according to reports we've gotten, Scott, and I'm waiting to confirm this, that key card goes with David Anthony Burke's Tesla. If not, I'm sure we'll find out. Explain to me the significance of that key card.
Yeah, I have a Tesla, and when I bought the car as a 2002 Model Y, they gave me 2 key cards. They look like little credit cards, and you put it on the center console, and you can start your car. Most people hide those away. I put those in the safe at my house because I don't need them, because I can use my phone once I set it up correctly to drive, open, and review all the camera stuff on my car. So the key cards are important initially, but then most of the time they're hidden away for when your phone dies or something like that, and you need to get into your car.
So I just want to point something out, right? Because I just quickly looked something up in the back end. So I did cover this, a jaw-dropping, 4 days ago, right? This is my video, Reddit detective finds David's Tesla key, September the 26th, 2025, all right? And that video that we're watching now was aired on October the 1st, 2025. So just for the record, all right, there's no disrespect, but look, people are saying, what's the value of Ross's updates? Well, you're seeing the same thing on Nancy Grace on a professional news broadcast 4 days later. So I think that just goes to show you the value that I'm delivering and what I do.
Guys, just look at that. We're getting that from Steve Fisher Investigates, and the shot of the Tesla key card is from Run It Back 777 on Reddit. Scott Eicher, can't the key card be loaned out? Like if you want someone to borrow your car, you could let them use the key card?
What is this?
You can because it doesn't have a name on it attached to it. It just runs the car when you need it to. So you can give it to a valet if you wanted to, or you could give it to your son if he's not, already set up to use the car with his phone. You can give that to anybody to use that to drive that car.
I'm going to circle back to you in a moment, Scott Eicher, because I want to find out everything I can about the Tesla nav system and all of the cameras. Teslas give you a 360-degree view all around the car, and it goes into a USB stick. Now, where's the stick? Will the car operate without the stick? Has the USB stick been removed from that Tesla, from Burke's Tesla? Is what's on the stick also recorded in the cloud? Isn't it true, Christina Gonzalez joining us, Fox 11 KTTV, that a raid was conducted on Burke, a.k.a. David, a.k.a. D4VD's home, his mansion, now I know valued at over $4 million, and a lot of digital evidence, computers, digital equipment was taken out of the home. Isn't that true?
Yes, they took quite a bit of computer equipment and electronics. That is confirmed by.
Scott Eicher, if his key card had been damaged by the elements, you saw it, right? It looked wet, it looks degraded. Can that be rehabilitated to make sure it belongs to Burke's vehicle? And what, if any, forensic evidence can we get off that card? I mean, I'm telling you, if somebody threw away the key to my minivan, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, but I would find it. That shot from Run It Back 777 on Reddit. Go ahead.
The key card itself is like a credit card. If it's broken, damaged, yeah, it might be a problem identifying it, but it's like a programmable credit card. And just like anything else, you can get some forensics off of it, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem other than the elements that are on it. I doubt someone hid it in a gutter. I haven't seen the picture of where it was found. It's more likely someone dropped it if it's in like the gutter of the street. But you could definitely get some information from that credit card or that key card.
I want to remind everyone that as we go to air tonight, David Anthony Burke, a.k.a. D4VD, is innocent in the eyes of the law, and he remains innocent unless the presumption of innocence is pierced and overcome by evidence that proves him guilty. Josh Colesrud joining us, veteran trial lawyer and former U.S. attorney, founder of Colesrud Law Offices. Josh, thank you for being with us. This would not be the first time that a killer has thrown away evidence thinking nobody would find it until they do.
Well, that's right. But this is certainly odd, just like other pieces of evidence in this case, are odd. And what I don't like about this, if I'm a prosecutor, is that the LAPD missed it. I mean, they're the ones that were searching the home where David was living, and they were supposed to have gathered all the necessary evidence. If I'm the prosecutor, I'm going to be pretty mad that they missed this. Now, a defense attorney is going to come in and say, chain of custody. How do you know that this wasn't placed after the police officers were there? How do you know that this isn't somebody setting up David? I'm not going to be happy about it. Also, maybe if they would have found the key card when they actually searched the house, they would be able to search it and get more material in forensics.
Well, I can answer that, Josh Colesrud, because it wasn't in the house, because it was thrown in the gutter. That's why they didn't find it in the house.
Well, there were certainly, 20 detectives around there, and you would expect them to search the area. The vehicle was only found 150 feet away from the house. I mean, it was within a half a block away from that house. Why wouldn't they just check around, look in the gutter, look in the bushes to see what, if any, evidence would be around there? It's standard operating procedure. The fact that a Redditor found this on their own is embarrassing.
Let me, Josh Colesrud, you stated that the Tesla belonging to Burke, a.k.a. D4VD, a.k.a. David, was found 150 feet from the home.
That's what I
believe you meant to say was the Tesla containing the little girl's dead body.
Nancy standard on business, man. But look, okay, there were a couple of interesting points there made, but I feel like, if anything, I feel like that was just a good contrast to my reporting, and it really is very similar as far as the substance goes. People say, not going to lie, I usually hate Nancy Grace, but I'm glad somebody's covering it and not letting the narrative change on David like TMZ is doing. Man, if only there was like a guy that was live right now doing the same thing that you actually respected. I don't hate her. Her first love was shot dead, and it changed her whole career to become an attorney to protect people. Wow. I don't know anything about her, but to be honest, that's commendable. Wow, she seems really interesting, man. I'd actually like to look into her more. She seems cool. I watched the full video, and she's the only one asking legit questions. Others are only repeating TMZ. Nancy may not be the kindest sometimes and gets harsh, but she's to the point, man. I might need to link up with Nancy and do a little collaboroonie. Okay, I love her. If only TMZ would narrate the story just like she does. People saying TMZ is a celebrity news outlet, and their job is to get celebrity breaking news first. It's basically a whole gossip show, and y'all are getting upset for them for not covering a story like a news outlet would. Nancy Grace is pretty much the exact same as TMZ, just for true crime, yet she's covering this story for what it is. There are choices that editors of TMZ are making here. People saying, I find it funny how some people downvote on this, like TMZ get clicks on whatever they report, and it's their job to do it the way that gets them clicks without reporting factually incorrect information the best they can. Announcing possible evidence of Celeste at a concert just to say that it's not her. They report on things that have no relation to the case. No one's supporting TMZ. That's what they're saying. All right. People, this is what I said. I don't think it's been established the Tesla key card went to his Tesla, has it? Right. That's my question too. She might just be as bad as the Redditors. She might even be one. Okay. I don't think she's on Reddit like that. If she was, she'd be cranking it out a little bit more. But anyway, there's been more commentary, more analysis, kind of looking for looking for clues, looking for information, looking for backstory, and people are kind of pointing out this clip of David talking in an interview is quite interesting, so let's check this out.
With the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime, and I'm really big into manga, and I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears his blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as the detective. So like when I was as the detective, I'd be like solving murders. And
now, look, I don't think that's proof of anything, but it is proof that this guy is a cornball for sure. I just feel like this is so lame. This is like, David is the definition of I'm 14 and this is deep. You know what I mean? If anyone's ever heard that, there's a subreddit. I think there's a subreddit for it. And it's just like kids that are just dumb as hell, right? Watch too much manga, too much anime, and they just think they're so deep, they're so smart. But I just think he's so lame. A lot of people have been asking and speculating as to whether or not David is actually still in Los Angeles, whether he's gone back to Houston, if he's laying low. It says, is David staying put in LA, or is there a possibility he might return to Houston to lay low? Given his mother was spotted in Tomball allegedly exiting a gun store, is there a possibility he might be looking to hide out in the comfort of his parents' home back in Houston? Leaving LA would definitely look suspicious, but not illegal or restricted, since no charges have been filed at the moment. Now, since people are swatting his parents' home, I don't feel like that'd be a good look for him, to be honest. People saying it hasn't been confirmed. One source said that he is with his parents in Texas laying low. Another source said that he's not allowed to leave LA because of the active investigations. There's too many rumors. Apparently, they're not legally allowed to restrict his movement. But in his YouTube documentary and the history tied to his parents' home, that's probably likely. But then people are saying his parents' home got swatted, and his mother said only 4 people in the house, so he probably wasn't there, right? But that was the same day the movers were apparently seen and all that kind of thing. He's definitely back home. His family must be keeping him locked, like no PC, no phone for sure. I can't even imagine what's going on in their home life right now, but he's 100% there. And apparently he's been active on YouTube, TikTok, and Fortnite in the last week. I did see somebody in a comment basically saying that, like, oh, David's been active in YouTube comments, man. If anybody, I got a bounty, if I got bread for anyone, if you can find me a genuine comment by David in one of my YouTube videos, that would be crazy. But anyway, this says, even if they don't put the body on him, David is cooked, right? It's good to see some people are still not believing any of the nonsense that's being put out on social media, trying to clear David without any evidence. It says, career is finished. No one is collaborating with this guy anymore, even if he's found guilty. Label dropping him without a doubt. Sponsorships, forget about it. Civil suits will bleed this bozo drier than his eyeballs after taking out his color contacts. This person says, I said it once and I'll say it again. This little girl died because of him. Whether he had a hand in it or not, I really don't know. She was found in his Tesla near his house. Whatever dumb theory anyone wants to push, it still would have been his relationship with a minor that led to her death. He exposed a child to danger, and if he was on tour and she was by herself at his place, he made it that much easier for her to be left defenseless, because who knows what happened and if multiple people were involved. And people's reactions are still mind-boggling to me. I'm waiting for that one guy who would say, when I was 14, I was left alone all the time and I had a gun. It's gotten to such a point that he could possibly have a career, but factually, he led this child to her death regardless of how she got here, and they're agreeing with that. People are saying, unfortunately, if he didn't actually kill her, he has a chance of salvaging his career. If he's not guilty of murder, the rest could blow over with time. Men in Hollywood have messed around with underage girls for years and have gotten away with it. Chris Brown beat Rihanna and still has a career. Diddy still has supporters. There's fans defending David even right now just because they like his voice and music. I personally hope he faces some serious consequences. He deserves prison time whether or not he killed her. What would he get prison time for if he didn't kill her? Grooming, S with a minor, potentially harboring an underage runaway CP, etc. In the chance that it was not David, the mass coverage from news outlets and online speculation has rightly so been able to connect him to a girl from the ages of 11 to 14, and as such, a lot of people have already made up their minds about the type of man he is. Unless he can sway public opinion, he's toast, and I wouldn't be surprised if that turned out to be true. Yeah, I've been saying this for a few days. Even if it somehow turns out she died in some accident, and he or someone connected to him just panicked and hid the body in the frunk, the wrongful death suit is going to ruin him. We remember O.J. Simpson bust case, and then they got him in civil court and they came for everything that he had, okay? So there is other ways that this could go left for him. This is the last thing I'm going to share with you on this topic for now. Okay, it says this creator reposted TMZ's video and victim blames and pushes the narrative that Celeste talked back to the wrong person and caused her own demise. All of the comments are super racist and defend David and drag the victim. So this comment says, I'm not taking a damn thing down. This shows her family lied. She was home quite a few times after April. This is literally September the 8th, 2024. Her acting out is irrelevant, even though it's also disrespectful as F. Child or not, I didn't make her this way, so not my problem. This ain't about justifying her death, so get out your feelings. This shows her personality, which means the cops also have to question who else did she tick off. Who else might she have made enemies with, especially since at the moment they're not calling David a suspect. Yeah, man. Yeah, if someone has an argument with their neighbors, you can just kill them and that's fine. Are you joking? Are you dumb? A lot of people are dumb in this situation. A lot of the people defending David and trying to change the narrative are dumb or bots, all right? People are saying the comments are full of bots, making racist comments against Hispanics and dragging Celeste for cussing. I'm convinced this is his PR team working overtime. I'm so upset, even in death, they can't leave this child alone. Nobody deserves to be dragged like that after they died. I was raised in a culture where we respect our dead and don't speak ill of them. I want to believe these are PR bots, but what if not? I'm so disgusted and sad. I don't think it's bots at all or David's team working overtime. The narrative shifts as more verified info comes out. Even I'm wondering what else the family has lied about and why they're exactly staying quiet. The way it's been portrayed by siblings is after she went missing, they didn't see her again, and clearly that's not the case. People are saying, bro, it's weird because MFs think that David is paying off TMZ, FBI, LAPD, medical examiners. Cap, nobody thinks that. Both of these comments are suspect if you ask me. And like to do all of that would be more than what David is worth. It's not a real thing because it's not happening. You can't pay off the FBI. Are you dumb? PR bot farms I have never heard of, and I don't think they exist, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're one of the bots. Let me introduce... Oh, boy. Wait a minute. What? Let me introduce you to the PR firm that made Reddit hate Blake Lively. I witnessed it in real time when they were astroturfing. Every discussion about it ends with us. Wow. Another paywall. God dang it. God dang it. Why you got to just do these dumb paywalls? So this is the whole article. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, we can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine. Private messages detail an alleged campaign to tarnish Blake Lively after she accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of It Ends With Us. Okay. It says, blah, blah, blah. All right, there was an accusation of inappropriate comments being made to her. They basically went to war about it, okay? And basically, I would just want to find the part that's actually relevant to the bots. It says, in the following weeks, Miss Nathan, whose clients included Johnny Depp and the rappers Drake and Travis Scott, went hard in the press, pushing to prevent stories about Mr. Baldoni's behavior and reinforcing negative ones about Miss Lively. The text messages showed Jed Wallace, a self-described hired gun, led a digital strategy that included boosting social media posts that could help their cause. An attorney for Wayfarer said in a statement to the Times that the studio, its executives, and PR representatives did nothing proactive nor retaliated against Miss Lively and accused the actress of another desperate move to fix her negative reputation. They said that it's false, but apparently it was a real thing, allegedly, right? The effort to tarnish Miss Lively appeared to pay off. Within days of the film's release, the negative media coverage and commentary became an unusually high percentage of her online presence. According to a forensic review she sought from a brand marketing consultant, right? She was branded tone deaf, difficult to work with. Sales of her hair care line had plummeted, and Mr. Baldoni remained largely unscathed. All right, he was honored. There was a whole bunch of positive press. All right, and people were basically claiming that it was a smear campaign. Okay, this is a real thing that does happen. Okay, it's not cap, it's not made up. This is a real thing that happens. They run these smear campaigns, and it wouldn't really surprise me if there was some nefarious activity going on behind the scenes. Okay, and there's even more. Okay, people are saying the amount of people I've seen on TikTok talking about Celeste as if she was a full-grown woman who had control of her life scares me. She was a little girl who was taken advantage of by an artist, and not only that, was dealing with a rough home life too. What's even more unfortunate is that since Celeste is no longer with us, she can't defend herself at all against these people calling her fast and grown. It's disgusting people are trying to smear a dead 14-year-old because she doesn't fit the perfect victim stereotype. 2,349 people called a 14-year-old murder victim fast and racist. I'm so disgusted. She can't defend herself. Everyone's dragging her instead of her alleged R-word and murderer. I want to think that these are bots because if no bots, I don't know how to live around these people anymore. It's depressing as hell. Okay, I'm going to say this lightly, especially because I'm Puerto Rican, but for some reason I've seen multiple this isn't relevant. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that because that's just a whole kettle of fish that I don't want to get into. I low-key had the same theory that there's a chance she peed someone off as she seemed argumentative, but that's just a theory. Don't take my word for it. Okay, I'm annoying and was a pain in the ass as a kid. If I could go back in time and beat my ass, at no point does that mean I deserve to die and be stuffed into a trunk. People are arguing, they're saying they're not bots being paid off. They're idiots who think a young girl being sassy or disrespectful at the mouth is enough to justify murdering her. So look, I think that something is going on. I feel like the discourse around this situation has changed a lot recently. I'm noticing an uptick in hate towards myself for some of the opinions that I've taken against David. And I think that there is an effort being made behind the scenes to try and deflect the narrative, all right? Who knows, that could be a conspiracy and it might not be true, and that just might be the level of discourse that's going on in the public eye. But I feel like I've noticed a change, okay? So you guys tell me what you think. You guys tell me if you think that the bots are working overtime in this situation, and I'll update you if there's another update.